Hello.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm doing good. We are live. We are
Awesome.
right on time because I know you are a woman that is on a mission and you got to get a lot done. So I'm here to broadcast and we are going to go. We are now broadcasting live
Yay.
into Facebook. So, Cheryl Wood, oh my God, the sister from another mister, even though you have a twin.
Right. We're triplets. We'll be triplets.
We're triplets. So bam. So this month we have Speakers Magazine cover girl on the cover again. Cause you did Playtime is Over too.
Yes.
I love that conference. I don't know how you gonna top that one. Okay. So we're gonna talk about how you gonna top that one, okay? Because that one was good. So Playtime is definitely over, and we got SpeakerCon. So Cheryl Wood, welcome, welcome. Love you. And you are the real deal. So the first thing I want to do is welcome everyone to Facebook Live. Cheryl just jumped off another interview and she's got another one after this. So we moving and grooving. But if you have not gotten, I'm just gonna do her book because she probably won't go over everything, but Success Tips for Speakers by Cheryl Wood. It is the real deal. I'll give an example. So one of the things she says is like, do not assume, or one of the things I like when you talk about don't wing it. Okay. Put it in writing about those contracts. Put it in writing. So let me just tell you about putting in writing. It says, treat your speaking career like a business because it is a business. This includes everything in writing, putting everything in writing. Always use a legally binding speaker agreement to confirm your date to speak, your speaker's fee, okay, required deposit, balances to be paid, and the cancellation policy. Okay, this is someone who has not, how do I say this? I like her to tell her story, but this is when God does not take anything that you've done in your previous life, career, and not use it in your current one. Okay, because in her previous career, you were a legal secretary.
Yes, right.
So you knew about this part right here about putting it in writing. God don't make no mistakes, okay?
Done.
So he had you do that for a reason. So can you give me some examples maybe of some contracts that when you maybe have heard about, or what happens when you don't really put it in writing? Some
Yeah.
stories.
So now I'm very, very specific about what's in my contract. Outside of just, oh, this is how much you have to pay me. This is what my deposit is due. Like that's some fundamental stuff. But you start to learn things like having clauses related to if your flights get canceled and you can't make it there because of the weather, and that's out of your control. You start to put in there different clauses about how much time you are actually expected to participate in the event. Because what I learned long ago was to stop giving people my full day because I still had work to do and clients to serve. And if you're speaking all the time and you sitting in a conference the whole day for everybody's event, no. So I started learning to put that in my contract. Like,
I love that, Cheryl. Oh my God, girl, you just freed up some people right there.
It is serious. Like, and it's not that you're being mean, and it's not that you're being, and I, even for my event, I ask my speakers, hey, if you can be a part of the event, spend as much time as you can with us. But my thing is, I don't want to run in and I don't want to run out, but I don't want to feel obligated to have to sit there the entire day either. So or typically weekend, I will,
weekend.
Yes. Or 3-day, right? You got a 3-day. I'm not sitting at your 3-day conference. So for me now, it's like, hey, Cheryl will, in my contract, will say, Cheryl is willing to stay at the event for 3 hours. She'll come an hour before she speaks. She'll speak for an hour and then she'll stay for an hour afterwards, something like that. Yes. So I'm just very, very intentional. Those are two that I can think of off the top of my head that it had to shift and it had to change.
Welcome Brian Oles and welcome Franklin. A couple of guys just jumped on here, so I want to say hi to him.
Hey,
Brian is also one of your platinum partners too for SpeakerCon 19.
We love Black Speakers Network.
Yes. So let's talk about SpeakerCon, but first I want you to tell them their story. And I want to say this about Cheryl Wood, okay? I love her because she's authentic. She's real. She will be speaking, and if her feet hurt, she will take her shoes off. She ain't one of them type of people. Okay. Her family. I love her husband, her children, your sister. But one of the things I love about you is that you bring it, your energy, your raw and your polish. It's not like, okay, you just say anything. You practice, you've studied. So when I first met you online about a decade or so ago, maybe longer, you were doing like helping women with build their business. Right, you were doing like trying to help women do online businesses. You were doing t-shirts, but I remember you had this little ebook. It was your first ebook. It was a downloadable ebook. Do you remember that, Cheryl?
No.
It was a downloadable ebook, and basically explained to people how to have a website, how to get email marketing going. It was just like very basic, but it was very potent because a lot of people were just coming online then.
Yeah.
They were just coming online. So you were saying about having email capture and having copy. And I mean, I was like, who is this lady? She acted like Miss Social Media Examiner or something, you know? But again, God didn't take all of your stuff that you've been doing in your past and use it as it's all came together. So tell them your story, because I love hearing it. And you give the pivotal point of what happened with your because I'm doing the memorial for my dad Monday. So give the pivotal point about that, and then how that really kind of catapulted to where you are now. She's a superstar, guys. She really is. I love her. So go on.
Yeah. So I think it's important that we tell our background, because people sometimes see the titles now and they're like, oh, well, she woke up like that. I'm not Beyonce. I didn't wake up like this. I didn't just wake up, yesterday decided I wanted to be a speaker and I was an international speaker. Like, it's been, like I said, it's been 10 years in the making of me working my butt off. Yeah. But I love sharing my story because I think it's such a powerful reminder of who you can become when you really believe that you are worthy just as you are. So really, there were a lot of things I felt like were going against me. I grew up in poverty in the inner city housing project in Baltimore. You know what it's like, for those of you who are familiar with an environment like that, like you see the worst parts of life. You see drug addiction. I mean, every day. It's not something where you're like, oh, surprised by it. It's an expectation that you're going to see that when you walk out your door. So people who are addicted to drugs, people that are selling the drugs, teenage pregnancy, people who are out on the streets begging for food because they're so beneath the poverty line. Like, it was craziness growing up in that environment. And in my household, unfortunately, was dysfunctional as well, because my father suffered from alcoholism. So he was kind of in the home, out the home, in the home, out the home. I saw my father go to prison more times than I can count. My mother was one of those loyal moms. So then we would go visit him in prison after he had act crazy. So it was just, when you grow up in that environment, you're questioning, how can I ever be anything other than a statistic? How can I ever become anything great or produce anything great when I'm not surrounded by what I consider to be greatness? So for a long time, that kind of kept me stuck. Like, how do I shift my life? And then even when I graduated high school, I didn't go off for, 4 years of higher learning, higher education. So I don't have this piece of paper that says, oh, she's qualified. So for a long time, I didn't feel qualified to be great because I didn't have enough letters behind my name, or I didn't have this piece of, paper that said I was smart enough, good enough, worthy enough. So for a long time, I just stood in my own way. And that led me, ultimately, I felt blessed because I was able to go from that environment into an environment where I ended up getting a job as a legal secretary. I started at the bottom. I was a clerical worker. I was like a receptionist, and then I worked my way up to an administrative assistant, and it just kept going. I ended up getting this job as a legal secretary. Made really good money.
And that's tough. But that's how. Listen, I worked in a law firm before. Yeah. That's no joke. That's a lot of time. I was fired. My first job was like a legal secretary when I was in high school. Girl, I was fired. They were like, "This girl, you got to take a lot. It's a lot.
Oh yeah, it's and I always got these. That was God. I feel like I always got these highly visible positions where I was always working for like the rainmakers in the law firm, like the people who were bringing in millions of dollars. So I had to be on my game, but that being on my game prepared me to be on my game in my business. Like you said, there's no mistakes. So anyway, I did that I literally stayed stuck there for 15 years, not the same job, but doing the same thing for 15 years. And I knew I wanted more, but I wasn't sure about how to go get more. I was like, where do I start? How do you get out of a rut when you don't feel like you have a blueprint to teach you how to get out of the rut. And at that time in 2009, I was a mom, and I just wanted to be home with my babies. That's the honest truth. I wanted to be present for them. I wanted to be actively engaged in their lives. I didn't want to drop them off at 6 a.m. and don't pick them up till 6 p.m. and then give them the yucky parts of me. Like I was yucky when I came home because I was hating what was going on. I was existing. I wasn't living. And so now I'm telling my family I love them, my husband and my kids, but I'm bringing them the worst parts of me. But I'm taking the smile to the job. Like that's crazy. So I just start going in prayer like, God, it has to be another way. This cannot be all that I'm meant for. And in 2009, I started a business because I saw entrepreneurship as the catalyst to get me out of the rut. Like, all right, I got to interrupt my norm some kind of way. So let me start a business. I was clueless. I didn't know what I was doing. I sold t-shirts. I did a t-shirt business called Moms Are the Best, only because I didn't want to chase money. I wanted to make sure that I was really pursuing something that I was passionate about, which was motherhood. When you've been told your entire adult life you will never have kids, and then God has a plan of his own, and he blesses you with 3 healthy kids. Oh yeah, you love being a mother. So I love being a mother. Yeah. So that's what I connected my business to. So I kept the job. I would go out on the weekend, sell t-shirts, set up a vendor table. Sometimes I would sell a couple shirts. Sometimes I wouldn't sell none. Came back home, broke, busted, and disgusted just the way I left in the morning. Then I had to come home and tell my husband I was still broke. Like, this has been a journey.
It's like, maybe this t-shirt business is not for you.
This ain't working. So he like, oh, so you've been gone for 8 hours and you only made $40? Like, what kind of nonsense is this? So even that was hard going through that because I was beating myself up. And, then I had to, of course, answer to your household with where's your time going and why are you doing this? But I just knew, I already knew how to go to a job. I already knew how to build somebody else's dream. I'd done that my whole life. So I'm like, I got to give myself a chance to do something different.
And you were dealing with rainmakers. So you were rubbing shoulders with those that knew how to, So that's not a mistake.
And I was learning how to have confidence, like you said, with people who of stature and titles.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't have a title, I was learning how to confidently present myself in those spaces, which serves me well even now, right? So you're right, everything was a lesson. So that ultimately is what led to my very first speaking engagement. So about 18 months into it, I got an invitation to come and speak at Morgan State University up in Baltimore. But it was because they heard about the t-shirt business. So they were like, oh, well, would you come and teach other moms? Would you do a session to teach other moms in the Baltimore region how to start their own businesses? That was my very first speaking engagement, September 18th, 2010.
Now, how did that feel, Cheryl, when you were asked to speak to these women in person about motherhood and entrepreneurship? Did a light bulb go off, or what?
I told them they had dialed the wrong number. They weren't looking for me. I was because I didn't have any experience. Like, that it just came out of the blue. Like, what? You want me? I don't think y'all looking for this Cheryl Wood. I think you dialed the wrong number. That was my.
And it's at Morgan State University, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't even have a degree. Like, what? Are you crazy? I thought they were crazy. I thought they had dialed the wrong number. But sure enough, they were looking for me. So I just gave myself a chance to just face the challenge. And it was indeed, when I went into that event, I was nervous. My palms were sweating. My heart was racing. I was like, oh my God, why did I say yes? But it was in that moment that I knew I was born to speak, because I had never, ever felt that sense of fulfillment at anything else I had done in my life. I knew in the moment that I did, I was like, oh my God, where has this, whatever this is right here, where has this been? I want this all the time. That feeling of energy and just, passion that was coming out of me. I was like, whoa, I didn't even know that was in me.
And that's the impact that she has. When you hear her speak, you're like, whoa, it really is. It's almost reminds me of the story of Oprah when she was trying to be a news reporter in Baltimore, and they took her and they said, you know what, maybe you'll be better off in the features section doing the news magazine. And when she did the news magazine, it was like, whoa, this is what I was made for. Yeah. And that's what it reminds me of you, because you were doing all these other things. And then all of a sudden you think somebody has the wrong number. They put you in a slot and you're like, yes, this is it. So that was 10 years ago, and you spoke at Morgan State University. Now tell the people where you've been speaking before, and then we're going to talk about SpeakerCon.
So since Morgan State University?
Yes.
So a sister just been blown up.
just went to Paris, and she didn't have been in Paris. Okay.
Yes, this year I did my first international women's conference, my own, in Paris, France. And I love telling people I had never been to Paris. I didn't know anybody in Paris, and I don't speak French. So
So with God, all things are possible.
All
You see what I'm
things-
saying?
all
Just
things are
dream it, do it, and go on and do it. Yes.
It was a dream that I had, that I wanted to host my own international conference. I did want to take my daughter to Paris because she actually speaks French, because she went to a French immersion school. So I wanted to create that experience for her. So I'm like, okay, let me see if I can do a family getaway, but also combine it with business, like do a conference while I'm here. And once I make a decision for me, I go for it. I don't talk myself. I try not to talk myself out of what could be an amazing thing,
Yes.
just because I'm scared, because you're supposed to be scared, right?
And
we had over,
God. It was
we had
God
over 100 women who ended up coming to that conference. So for that to happen, like, it's divinely assigned to you. And so I'm learning still to stop fighting God when he says, like, yes, and just move.
Just trust. Just trust. It is. Just step out in faith and trust.
That's it.
Yeah. And so she's done Paris, she's done all kind of conferences, and now she's done a book. She's launching another book. She's on the cover of Speakers Magazine, and she's got SpeakerCon. Okay, so this is where it all leads to, I guess you would say. How long has SpeakerCon been in your heart? I love these colors too, by the way, and I got my gold dress. I just
I love it. SpeakerCon is okay. So honestly, it's probably been in my heart for almost 2 years. But this is the crazy part. That's why you can't question God. I kept debating with God, because I was like, well, why would I be the one when there are speakers who have been out here for 15 years, 20 years, 30 years? Like, they're going to think I think I'm like, I don't know if anybody else has ever felt that way. Like, you are afraid to assign greatness to yourself because of what you think other people are going to think. And
I don't think you called me, because I would have said you the chosen one and going to do it. Okay. So whenever you had them debates, you just called me here.
Speed dial. Exactly. So I kept letting.
This is like for real. She's the one.
But when you think about how many amazing, phenomenal gurus there are in the market, you're thinking to yourself, okay, I'm still the newbie on the block. Like, why would I be the one to blaze this trail? And that's how I felt. And finally, I was just like, it just kept coming up. He kept coming back. Like, God kept planting it in my mind. I could not let it go. And I finally just said yes. And so now here we are. Next week, we'll be finally doing the inaugural SpeakerCon.
Oh my God. Brian, okay, I got to remember to read. So Brian says, if you haven't seen it, check out the October issue of Speakers Magazine. Cheryl's on the cover. Woot woot, Morgan State University. Elder is watching. Geneva is watching. Geneva is a Morgan State alumni as well. Oh my God. So, Baltimore's getting a whole lot of love right now with the passing of
Elijah Cummings.
So, yes. So that's amazing. That was your first place, because that's where the first place he's going to be laid in state, so to speak. He's going to be there first, and then he's going to go to the other places. So Teresita said, hey. She says, Cheryl, now, for the whole book club. Okay, so you were also in Speak Up the book as well, but do you have some other things that are going to be going on at SpeakerCon? So explain to them what the vision of SpeakerCon is. SpeakerCon means speaker conference, okay, and it's over November 1st and 2nd.
Yes,
and it's in Virginia.
Yes. So really, the con really represents convention, because there's a convention for everything. Like, every industry has a convention. Like, there is even a cookie con. Did you know that? There's a cookie con. There's a Comic Con.
It was a Comic Con. I saw
Comic Con. Yeah, there's Comic Con that my kids know all about. There's Cookie Con. There's a T-shirt con. There's a con for. And so I started looking. I'm like, why is there no convention for speakers? Like, it just doesn't make sense that we, as I like to say, we are transforming the world one word at a time. How is it possible that we don't have a place to come and connect and learn and grow and celebrate? And I just kept saying, there's no way that this doesn't exist. Sure enough, over the time, I just kept looking and researching. I'm like, it doesn't exist. Darn it, we're going to create it. So what I said initially, it was just going to be a convention. That's it. It was just going to be, expo style, convention style. And then I said, okay, Cheryl, you can't be who you are. No way you can have a convention and not have a conference attached to it as an educational component. And then I said, well, you can't just have the education and the convention and don't celebrate some people who are doing amazing things in the industry. So let's connect an awards gala to it. So now it has kind of emerged into the fullness of what it's meant to be, which is the convention accompanied by a full day of education for the conference and then the awards gala.
And the networking. So who are some of the
Yeah.
people that are going to be coming that people can rub shoulders and network with?
Yeah, so we'll have some of our honorees who will be in the space. They'll be there early to network. Dr. George Fraser will be there. Linda Clemens. Oh my God, if you have not experienced her, she's amazing. Mickey Taylor, editor at large of Essence Magazine. Brother
Lord.
Bedford, who is a marketing and business advisor. He is
Detroit.
he is amazing. Delatoro McNeil. Oh my God, he's phenomenal. And then we have other people who are going to be in the space. Huh?
Gloria Banks.
Yes, Gloria Mayfield Banks is going to be in the space. She's amazing. Like, she is amazing. We were just in Mississippi, maybe not even a month ago, speaking together at the Success Women's Conference. And her energy is fire. She's humble. She's powerful. Like, you just kind of stand in awe of her.
She's from Detroit, to just let you know.
Oh my God. But she lives in Baltimore now. Just so y'all know. But then we have other people, other influencers who are going to be in the space. There's a young lady named Michaela Alexis, who is a LinkedIn guru. Like, they travel her all over the world. She just got back, I think, from Dubai, speaking for LinkedIn. So she'll be there pouring into us. Tara Anderson, Brian Olds, Pam Perry. Like, the list is so long of the people who are coming into the space. Darren Adams, many of you know him from Infusionsoft. He'll be there. He's a great addition. He's been at every conference that I've done for the past 5 years.
Wow. So he was I remember that when he started dropping information, I was like,
yeah, and he's such an entertaining speaker. Like, I love seeing him on stage because he's not just let me give you some content. Like, he really engages you and makes it make sense. Because sometimes for some of us, automation and technology, we're just like, oh God. But he makes it where it's clear, it's simple. Yep. And I love that about him. So he'll be in the space. And then we have some other surprises of folks who are going to be in the space that you don't even know they're going to be in the space. Of course, we have celebrity Kenya Moore.
Yes,
be there for the meet.
He's from Detroit too.
Yeah. and
so I guess that speaker guy gonna be in Detroit.
Exactly. So the list just goes on and on. I mean, just phenomenal people who are coming from all across the country. And I'm so excited.
And so the typical conference that I go to with Speakers Magazine, normally it's between, say, 50 to 75 people. If they get 100, it's a lot. So far, Cheryl has registered over 250 people at this conference.
Yes.
First one out the gate. Okay. So when we kind of, and this is the thing I want to say about you, Cheryl. It's like you were debating with God, but everything that you basically have stepped into has been led by God. And so your intuition is really on point, even though you talked about your background, your story, and all of that. God is ordering your steps to really do this and to bring other people along. I've seen you in conferences where women were crying, and the things that you've poured into them. You've helped them launch books. You've helped them launch their speaking careers. If you didn't do or have the courage to do what you needed to do, you wouldn't have birthed all these other things that other women are doing now. So I just want to say thank you. It's not like you're doing it because you're like, you're doing it because it is really one of the things. And then your daughter is like, I see her coming up behind you. She looking like a little mini you.
My boo-boo.
That's like, look at her. I said, she's doing books and stuff too. I'm like, oh my God.
She has 2 books already, and she's working on her 3rd book. And she wants this 3rd book to be like, it's huge. I'm just like, girl.
I just cry. That is such, it's always a blessing when we do what we do as career women, but when you find that your daughters are behind you, being as successful in their own right, because they're inspired by us. It's not like you're just out here, I'm doing it, and then it's like, oh, well, then my family is left aside. No, you're bringing your family along with you. And that's really, really important.
And I love that. I love that it's one thing to be walking in your gift, and to have discovered what you're born to do and to be able to do it full time. But then another thing, like you said, to be able to have your family on the journey with you. Like, every time I do anything international, my family goes with me. My kids are 11, 12, and 15. They've been to 3 countries in the past 3 years. They've been to Paris, they've been to South Africa last year when I spoke, and they've been to India. And now we're prepping for what we're going to do for 2020, which is likely going to be my conference in Dubai.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah,
I
so it's
love it.
like
I love
being
it.
able to expose them to things that I didn't get exposed to as a young girl. I didn't leave Baltimore until I don't know how I was way too old. But
That's like people in Detroit says, I didn't even cross 8 Mile till I was 20 years old,
right? Like
it's like, what? Okay, we got to get out of here. So now you're going and expanding. So SpeakerCon will be that conference that will really, people can network, people can learn about new things in terms of the speaker industry. They can meet their celebrities, the Kenya Moores. I mean, it's going to be like the everything conference, okay? November 1st and 2nd, SpeakerCon 2019.com. And is there going to be a wait list in case they miss it this year?
Well, we
on the wait list?
are at the conference this year. We already have the dates for next year. We have the venue for next year. We've already booked the venue. We went to a bigger venue because we ran out of, we sold out this year.
Yes.
Which is a great thing. I mean, that you want that. So next year we're going a little bit bigger, and we've already locked in the venue, and we'll announce it and actually sell tickets on site at this year's conference for those who want to lock it in because they don't want to miss out. You got some folk who like, look, I got to be an elite. If I'm not elite,
right.
Or
they
VIP,
want to be VIP. That's true.
And I'm telling you, the people who are elite and VIP this year are getting some juicy goodies. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God,
they really are.
That is good. So, is there going to be a launch of a book, or is that secret?
Yeah, no. So yes, we are launching the very first inaugural SpeakerCon book anthology called Speaking My Truth. Because one of the things that that I heavily promote is not only sharing your story verbally, but sharing your story in writing. And that really connects to my father. My father passed away in 2009, Thanksgiving Day of 2009. He was 59 years old. He passed of a massive heart attack in his sleep. It was unexpected. We didn't know that was coming. But he never told his story. So for most of my life, I was confused with why my father was who he was. Like, I didn't understand the alcoholism, and I didn't understand you get out of jail and you go back to jail and you get out of jail. I just didn't understand his life and his decisions and his choices. And as soon as he passed, he came from a family of 8 siblings. His siblings came to us, myself, my sister, my brother, and started telling us my father's story. And some of the things that he had experienced, the trauma he had experienced as a young child, it's when people are the way they are, it's a reason that they are that way. And they probably likely just didn't get healing from it or help from it. And we didn't know all of those things that they start telling us. And I thought to myself, wow. So basically, if you don't tell your story, either it doesn't get told or it gets told from somebody else's perspective. And neither one of those things are fair. So now one of my, I feel like it's a mission in my life is to put more people on stage to share their story and to get more people to share their story in writing. And that's what this book is. It's a continuation of that mission to get more people to say, yes, I'm going to tell my truth. And, I'm going to be vulnerable. It's going to be raw and authentic. And it's for healing for me, but also it's for freedom for somebody else to know that they can make it through what they're currently going through.
I love that. That is such a tribute to your dad. It really is. It really is. I love that. So I can't wait to get my hands on that. How many people are in the anthology?
50.
What? 50?
This is the biggest
small. Okay, this is what I'm saying. She don't do nothing small.
The biggest anthology we've ever had. We've always maxed out kind of at, I think 30 was our highest number. We have 50 co-authors in this book, and I think 35 of them will actually be on site at the conference for the book launch and the book signing.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Oh my God, girl, you are like a publicist's dream right now. You hear me? This thing is just growing legs and going further and further, and I'm just so proud of you. So
thank you.
I don't know what to say. It's amazing. I can't wait. That's one thing. It's going to be November 1st and 2nd, and I'm excited. And most people don't really have conferences towards the end of the year because they kind of feel like it's getting close to Thanksgiving. Right. But you were like, it's going to be 1st and 2nd. And I was like, okay, Cheryl. I was like, okay. So you got to be on the cover October because November is like, it's
right, exactly
right there. So so that is good. So SpeakerCon 2019.com, and then the hashtag. So people are following the hashtag. I want people to know your social media team, they're doing a great job. I'm going to get that hashtag out there, and you're doing a great job organizing everything. I mean, like I said, God doesn't waste anything. I was like, this little background on this lady. She sent me one more piece of paper with a whole bunch of words.
I know, but so many people have sent me emails like, oh my God, I have never been a part of an event that's so organized, where they gave us every piece of information. And that comes from the secretarial background.
Yes. It's like what is the time for the awards gala to select? You've got semi-formal or formal, and for Black attire for men, but accessorized with red, burgundy, or gold. And ladies wear red, burgundy, or gold because the colors are burgundy and gold. Okay. So we didn't even talk about the photo ops and all that. I can't wait. So Cheryl Wood, is there anything else you want to add? Because I know you got another interview coming up.
You know what? I'm so grateful, I think, just to be in a space where I am being obedient. Right. And I just challenge everybody who's listening and watching or watch the replay to just be obedient, even when it scares you or rocks you to your core and you're like, oh, but like, don't even go with the but, just go with it. Just be obedient, surrender. And I think, every time what comes out on the opposite end of that is something greater than you ever could imagine it being. And I feel like that's where we are with SpeakerCon. Anytime you're 15, my 15-year-old daughter is like, mommy, SpeakerCon is it. I'm telling you, mommy. Every day she's just like, this is the big thing. It's supposed to be yours. And I'm like, when you have your child saying that, it's just like confirmation. To me, it's God's confirmation in my ear. Like, you're supposed to do this. Like you say, you're the chosen one for this. Yes. And everybody is chosen for something specific. So when it's downloaded to you, say yes, be obedient, surrender, and go through all the challenges that come with it. But on the end, I just think we're going to have such an amazing time at SpeakerCon. I think so many people's lives are going to be shifted. And I think it's going to be the beginning of a lot more people sharing their stories and being willing to speak up, because they'll see the speakers, myself and the other speakers, being vulnerable enough to share our raw, authentic truth. And when you see that vulnerability, you're willing to then be vulnerable.
Right.
And so I'm super excited. And I'm just so excited for every company and person who partnered with us.
Have a lot of sponsors.
Man, when I tell you, my sisters stepped up, and my brothers, but my sisters stepped up to support this. Our transportation, board and transportation stepped up to the plate. Merch studio stepped up and sponsored the swag bags. It's just amazing. And you need that, because you shouldn't be doing anything on your own. You need that support.
Yes, that is so good. That is one of the things that I'm excited about. So at SpeakerCon, Speakers Magazine will be there. We'll be doing our little interviews live, catching it live, for those that can't be there, or the ones that are there. I'm gonna be catching you live so you could be on, and we'll be doing our thing. Okay. Yes. And then we'll be recapping it in the next issue in the November issue. So yeah, girl.
I know. I looked up and got Speakers Magazine and Black Speakers Network. Come on now.
Yes.
At the same event.
We're gonna be doing it. And then listen, Brian is still on here. He's just like, he is pumped up. We got you. So I'm telling you, those of you who are serious about the speaking industry, those that are professional speakers or public speakers, those who speak to sell, whatever, communicators, podcasters, anybody who uses the words to communicate, this is a conference that's celebrating it, and you'll learn from and network with. So I just thank you so much. Thank you so much. So you want to read the issue with Cheryl on the cover, go to speakersmagazine.net, go there, download the online issue for free, but the physical issue will only be available at the convention. At the convention. Yes, I love this picture of you right here. You know that, right?
I know, you guys did such an amazing job. Your team.
I was like, oh, who's that? And who's this little man right here?
My husband. who keeps telling me I don't work for Cheryl Wood Powers. Because I'm already like, babe, can we take these boxes over to the hotel? He's like, look, I don't work with Cheryl. What am
I know. That's it. That's Mark the same thing. Like, okay.
I love
All
it.
right, I don't work for Speakers Magazine.
Exactly.
Okay, well, you just have to be here. So this is the thing. This
That's
is part of
right.
your job right now.
That's right.
Well, thank you. I can't wait to see you. And then for those who want to get in touch with you personally, they can follow you on Instagram and give them your website.
Yes, so all across social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at Cheryl Empowers, and LinkedIn. And then my website is CherylEmpowers.com.
All right. All right. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Miss Cheryl Wood, and I will
Thank
see you
you.
at SpeakerCon.
9 days, 9 days.
All right. Take care. All righty. Have
Thanks.
fun. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.